Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYUR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live on the OnChain Hour, and today's episode is going to be awesome, guys, because we're going to be breaking down a lot. So today's obviously the end of July, the last day of July, the final day of the month, which means tomorrow we start a new month, right? But we're going to have these percentages that we're going to check from January, February. It's actually really cool to see. If it lets you kind of zoom out to kind of see where we are, and then kind of look at the previous post bull market years as well, or I guess bull market years as well. We're going to check into that. We got a lot of stuff to cover from Jerome Powell and what he did yesterday, completely nuked the markets and basically saying that we won't have a rate cut the rest of this year. We're going to get into that. But then at the very end, he said something a little strange. We'll cover that as well. We got a lot of stuff from the SEC listing ETFs. We're going to talk about it and so much more, guys. Without further ado, bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling today?
I feel good. Yesterday wasn't the best FOMC meeting. I think people took advantage of that, the ones that maybe wanted to bring the market down a bit. But I will say Ethereum showed some pretty good strength, and so did Bitcoin. It, initially felt like we took a bit of a gut punch, but the bounce back was definitely encouraging, and it looks strong. I mean, that we're just kind of ranging now, kind of finish off the end of July, and you know how I feel about end of months. I don't love them because I feel like there isn't really a ton of bullish energy ever at the end of each month, and so it could be worse is what I'm trying to get at, and so I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I think that we kind of let July finish, and I think we take July as a win because it was the first step for Ethereum to get back to where it needed to be, and then we focus on August, right? Starting next week, and even if we don't get a shoot out of the cannon type of experience to start the month, I think we'll be fine. Let's wait till kind of the middle towards the end of next week to get some sort of a beginning of a feel of how August might be. But historical data says August probably going to be a good month.
Yeah, no, we'll jump into that in a second. But let me ask you this. So tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time, we have the close, the monthly close. Do you see any fireworks with that? Do you ever pay attention to that? Is that something that you kind of maybe look at to kind of tell what's going to happen in August?
Yeah, so not really, just because like I said, typically the end of the months aren't too exciting,
Yeah.
unless you're maybe like shorting or something like that, and there's going to be options expiring that are more leaning towards your way. But this month might be a little different. And the reason why I say that is because Ethereum has just shown so much strength. So I'm more focusing on Ethereum's month end than I am Bitcoin's here. So that's where I'm going to be focusing on later tonight on Ethereum. How does it end? Does it end strong? The momentum indicators like the MACD is telling me that August is going to be a good month for Ethereum, and so but that doesn't mean that we have a blow off the top like ending the July, right? But
Yeah.
I one thing I don't expect to happen is Ethereum to pull back to like 3,600 or 3,550 or anything like that. I think kind of like just a little bit of ranging, low 3,700s to mid 38 possibly. If there is some aggressive push up, to me, that's kind of a cherry on top situation, icing on the cake type of situation. So that's how my perspective is going into tonight. I'm not expecting anything huge in terms of up or down, really.
Yeah, it's been real sideways. The S&P 500 though has been flying. Yesterday they had the Robinhood and a bunch of others come out and basically give their earnings report, and they all did really well. The S&P 500 is seriously controlled by like 5 stocks right now, and like everything. It's kind of weird when I'm paying attention to that world over there. Their top stocks are running, everything else isn't. So like I was listening today to the stock guys I listened to called Pre-Market Prep, and they're basically saying that like this isn't a bull run. It's only a bull run for the top 5 stocks. And I was thinking, this isn't a bull run in crypto. It's only a bull run for crypto, for Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, and XRP maybe, right? You can add XRP into that. So it is, they're very like mimicking each other, but they are expecting in stock world that everything else kind of catches up. And I think we're all kind of expecting in crypto world that everything else eventually catches up. So I think we're all on the same page, which is really good to try and understand.
Yeah, because it could be telling a story of just the overall like mentality of the average investor kind of
Yeah.
going across from TradFi to our space, and maybe they're just not yet ready to get risk on, right? So but they are ready to get into these more solid assets that, yeah, at some point they were considered more risky, but to them they're starting to accept them as assets that they can benefit from. But once the risk on comes in, I think that changes everything, obviously, right?
Yeah, risk on is exactly where we want to be. Well, let's kind of get into the topic of today: Bitcoin and Ethereum D-Day, boom or bloodbath. August bull streak on the line. So let's take a look at that. So if you guys go over to coinglass.com and go down to monthly returns. So let's take a look at Bitcoin first, then we'll go to Ethereum second. So let's take a look at this year so far. So January was +9, February was -17, March was -2, April, May, and June and July were really, really green. 4 green months in a row. That's actually really good to see, because let's take it down to the previous bull market year. And we know the bull market year is the year after the halving year. So let's take it down to 2021. You saw a really good January, really good February, March. And then April, May, and June were red, going into a bullish summer, a little bit bullish summer. July, August were green. And then you had a red September. And then we all know that October, November was kind of like the blow off top there. Well, for Bitcoin anyway, it was the first week in November. It didn't finish well for Bitcoin, but going into November it was 69,420, November 17th I think it was. But what do you think about Bitcoin here and about the year we've had so far?
Yeah, so the year we've had so far for Bitcoin has been great, in my opinion. You're looking at 2 down months that were just more of confusion, I think, from the overall market, and everything got hit during those 2 months. Every other month has been green. We've hit new all-time highs. Looks really, really good. If you look at August, previous bull cycle years, 2021 matches with 2025 in terms of the actual bull cycle year. It was green. We had a 14% uptick for August. you know, and July was green as well. So very comparable in terms of 2021 there. So far, we'll obviously see if August makes that more of a close comparison. But if you go back to 2017, very similar situation. July, green, and then August, very green, right? With the 65% uptick. So I
Oh,
expect,
wow.
yeah,
This
so
actually matches really well.
it actually matches even more with 17 than it does 21. 21 was manipulated. A lot of us know that. Plus, the months prior to July were COVID scare for, you know, a little bit. I think maybe, you know, that COVID situation happened in 2020 in terms of like the markets tanking and all this stuff. But like Bitcoin was still kind of like a risk on assets. So I think they were just kind of like, yes, late 2024 or sorry, late 2020, it started to pick up heading into that beginning of 2021. But, you know, people were still kind of like, oh, you know, is it ready? Are we okay to be able to dabble more? And once, you know, stimulus came in, the rates got cut, all these things, I think people just felt, you know, it took some months is what I'm saying before that, you know, for all that confirmation for them. So 2017 matches more closely where we are, and it matches almost to a T. The only thing is flip out January for February, and then we're the same. Right.
That's true, dude. That's so crazy. It's crazy to look at. So let me ask you this. Do you think we see, because obviously these are all skewed a little bit, 50%, 10%, 10%, 2%. Then you see 17%, 10%. Do you see potentially maybe a 40% August for Bitcoin? 30%? Let's just say 40%. Could that be possible?
15 to 30, I think, would be
Yeah.
a target I'm looking for. Just because, I mean, 65 is just so strong. And back in 2017,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin wasn't as high, right? So you're looking at like a more capable of percentage increase as you go up. But, you know, something between 15 and 30, I think would be, you know, if we get like 25, 28%, I'm really happy
Yeah.
with that, because that's still a big jump up there.
Yeah.
If we get anything higher than that, then yeah, it's awesome. Like, you know, Bitcoin's gonna be flying or looking really, really strong. I think we outperformed 2021's August though.
Gotcha. By how much do you think?
So worst case scenario, that 1.2%, like, so that 15% being the middle. So if I were to just put like a complete speculative guess out there,
Yeah.
I would say maybe like, you know, 21%, right? So if we get 21%, then we'd probably outperform it by what was that, about 7.2? So about 7%. But again, that's very speculative and me kind of throwing a dart in the dark. What I'm going off is the similarities of 2017, but obviously not that high. I feel like getting up to 65% was easier to do in 2017. But 15 to 30, I think is something that could be on the table. Now, a lot of people probably like, well, you know, Bitcoin did ran. If you look at the monthly chart for Bitcoin, it doesn't look as juicy as Ethereum. And I agree. I think Ethereum is going to have bigger outperform Bitcoin in August.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at ETH. Okay, so Ethereum -1% in January, -30% in February, -18 in March, -1 in April, a +40 in May. So that was absolutely huge. And then we saw a flat month in June, and then a +51 in July so far. This could actually range depending on what happens today. But you saw the huge month, a little bit of a flat, huge month. Do we see another little bit of flat? Let's take it back down to 2021. We saw very different, very, very different year there. Let's
It's
go to
different. Yes,
2017.
it's different from
Very
both of them.
different. Yeah.
So the difference, in my opinion, is that like we probably saw some manipulation from larger institutions and stuff to start the year. This is something I've been beating a drum about, is the sell down the first 4 months of Ethereum this year.
Yeah.
Even last year, 2024, which was the halving year, we didn't see any type of aggressive sell down like that.
Yeah.
Yes, some of it could have been narrative of Ethereum is washed up and it's, you know, Solana is the new hot thing, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, you know, these are large decreases. You're talking about a 32% decrease in February, followed up by almost a 20% decrease. Yeah, you're hitting right at 19% in March. April was more of the kickback. It's a little bit, you know, just because it's red, but I'll say April's what kicked things off for Ethereum, right? So let's just give the first 4 months to this kind of aggressive manipulative sell down, which is what I think happened. And then, you know, that second part of April is when things start to kick up. And you saw it really start to kick up and get back into gear from that bottom of what's 1,800 in April to May, having that 40% increase. And I think a lot of people were like, hold on, pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. You know what I mean? That was a big jump up of 48% or 40.8%. Then you kind of have stagnation a little bit in June, but it does pick up in the second half of June and then leading into July. And we have like one of the best returns. So when I say outperform Bitcoin, I'm not saying like in August, obviously, I'm not saying like we see 100% or anything crazy like that. I think maybe like we get like 35% or, you know, low 30%, and maybe Bitcoin will get like 20% or something like that. But I do think that Ethereum has turned the gas on, and it's going to, like, you know, it's going to outsprint Bitcoin from here on out. But like that doesn't mean that Bitcoin doesn't have amazing gains and you know, really looks really good. I think that's definitely possible.
Yeah, 100%. It's cool. They have weekly returns here too. This is pretty cool to look at. But yeah. All right. Let's jump into the next thing here. So our guy Colin Toss Crypto is he updated his global M2 charts. Take a look at that. So this is it right here. As you can see, this is where we're at now. We did have this upward. I remember being here. Remember we were talking about like a deviation, and it did end up catching up because this had a down, and we kind of got up here. But we are kind of deviating again. But you know, if I think the month of August, because you got to remember this whole block right here is the month of August. We should be heading back up, dude. So let's just say we do get a 30% jump. That would put us in line with the M2 money supply. We are actually on the low side of it right now. And we have been for a little while now, and maybe it's time for we to jump up here. But you are seeing a sub peak or a final top on the M2 money supply. So this is still predicting by October here. Let's go, by October, Bitcoin should be at about 190,000. I mean, that's only 2 months away. That's only like 90 days away from this one, 3 months. So if this continues, we're gonna need to pop up here and then kind of drag up to the top here. But what do you think, man? Do you think this is for the M2 money supply? Do you think it's a sub peak or a final top? Do you think this is it for the M2?
I think that's time for us to prepare for. Right? Meaning that like from where we are now up until where that is, so we're talking about around November, and I think it will probably lag a little bit, right? So I think that you got to probably, if you want to see some gains in 2025, you got to prepare for this right here, because this has been leading us the entire time. So why would it just, you know, stop? You know what I mean? So I, like, for me, my mentality starting in October is, okay, where am I going to get like some really good profit? That's where my mentality is going to be. But
yeah, I mean, that's definitely something to definitely think about. I mean, that would match the 4-year cycle, right? And let's just say this cycle, but what would happen though if Bitcoin does start rising that way and Ethereum kind of follows it? You might see an insane alt season between September, October, and November. Because, you know, got to remember, Bitcoin did hit its all-time high in like mid-November, but alts ran until January. Like most alts ran until January, February, right? So that's something we could also see as well. It wasn't just like alts down after November. It was like Bitcoin started dropping in like January, February when the Fed started raising rates, and then that's kind of what you saw. But yeah, I mean, this would be, you know, if it does follow this to a T, this would be your normal 4-year cycle.
Yeah, it would be, but the difference is that the Ethereum and alts were delayed, right? That's the difference, is that like it didn't really start running until July, hard, like to get where it should have been. And so that kind of makes me, you know, question about 2026, and with the 6 rate cuts and the new Fed chair going to be in place, and a lot of different things that could really change things up, right? And so 2026 doesn't, like, just because the money supply does tail off here, I do expect a pullback because of that. But it doesn't mean that 2026 won't be bullish. I do expect something, some really good opportunities in 2026, but depending on what your strategy is. This is just me. For me, I'm probably planning take profit, take a step back, and reassess what my plan is going to be for 2026. Other people, they're going to hold. They're gonna hold everything until they feel like their 2026 target has been met. We talk to Jake Gallen every Friday. He has really good insight. He's been calling for the 100th birthday of the United States being kind of like that top. Yeah, July being that top next year. So some people might be, up until July, start planning on taking profits then. We'll see.
Yeah, my strategy is sell in May and go away. I don't think that this is the top. I think that as we get closer to here, they can't stop printing money. And you got to remember, too, the beautiful new bill hasn't even gone into effect yet. And that's going to print tons of new money. This is going up. We haven't even started cutting rates yet. And the thing is now we're not going to start cutting rates until January, February. Again, that's going to cause the money supply to go up. So I do think that we're going to head up here. And I think that, if Bitcoin at 190, I think alts are running. I think Ethereum is running. I think everything else is catching up. And maybe you see Bitcoin kind of hang out from November to December up here at like 190 to 170. And then you see alts and Ethereum just running. And then Bitcoin takes that next leg up in right before the Jerome leaves in March. Right. And then because everyone's gearing up, because what happens is the markets are forward looking. So they're going to be baking in the fact that Jerome's leaving and baking in 6 rate cuts for that year. And I think January and February and March are really bullish. But I think that's also a buy the rumor, sell the news event, to where in April and May we kind of calm back down. And then May might be a nice top moment for a lot of people, for a lot of alts anyway. And then maybe June and July are just the after effects of kind of the real tiny stuff starts running at that point.
Yeah, that could be what, how we end the year, which would be exciting actually, because, I think a lot of people just really waiting for the opportunity for some of these other, tokens besides Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even XRP and Solana and stuff like that. There's a lot of, like that second layer of tokens and third layer of tokens, top 200, 300 that people are holding and hoping that we get, an aggressive blow off the top.
Yeah, man. All right, let's talk about what happened yesterday with Jerome Powell. Federal Reserve leaves interest rates unchanged, remains at 4.25 to 4.5. Jerome Powell says we've made no decisions about September. Powell says what we see now is the very beginning of tariff inflation. President Trump came out, says he heard Fed Chairman Powell will cut rates in September. And then Trump goes this morning and says, too late. Powell is too angry, too stupid, too political to lead the Fed. He's costing us trillions. And then we had a sensible person come out. Raoul Powell says, weirdly, the higher interest rates stay, the more they have to inject via liquidity to finance the debt. The higher assets go, the everything code. So he's basically saying the U.S. is pushing money by keeping the rates at 4. The U.S. is pushing money. They have to pay 4% on the 30. What is it now? $40 trillion, whatever it is, $30 trillion. So he's saying, Raoul Paul's saying they're forced to push liquidity in the market through that. So people are still making really good money. The bond holders, and you got to remember USDC, Tether, they all hold tons of bonds. These guys are making money hands over fist because of the rates are staying high. So he's saying we don't need to cut rates to have a liquidity injection.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like we are seeing like the money supply is led us to here. And, yesterday, probably if we were to hear news like yesterday, let's say in February, I think Bitcoin would have definitely bled out a lot more. And so it would have Ethereum, right? So I don't necessarily think that we need that extra push from the rate cuts, right? Plus, like you said, like some, what the Nasdaq and S&P are looking strong, right?
So strong.
Exactly. So it's like, why are we waiting for this extra thing? Yes, it will put us into risk on environment, which that's what that like top 200, 300, 400 tokens will benefit from. But if we solidify like the strongest assets in our class first, people make profits off of those. Maybe that kind of starts to naturally come into play. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but I do think that maybe not cutting rates until next year is a good thing, because it's something, because we always have that something to look forward to, right? If we're going through a rate cycle now, markets are forward looking, guys. You have to remember that, and you have to remember, because we need something to look forward to. So if we're always like looking forward to a potential rate cut, that's always something that's in our back pocket that we're going to be able to use eventually. So, but yeah. All right, moving along here. The SEC released listing standards for crypto ETPs and that's exchange traded products, via new exchange filing, with any coin of over 6 months of futures trading on Coinbase derivatives appearing likely for approval. So anything that's been on Coinbase for more than 6 months is looking for approval potentially from an exchange traded product. So the new listing, SEC, aims to streamline the process of approving crypto-based exchange-traded products, ETPs, which have historically forced significantly regulatory hurdles. So, and then Paul Atkins says America must do more than keep pace with crypto asset revolution. We must lead it. I stand to help to get the job done. So this is absolutely huge. And right after, like minutes after that happened, 21 Shares files an S1 amendment for its Solana ETF. And then Visco Galaxy files for its Solana Sol ETF, right after the SEC basically put out new listing standards.
Yeah, dude, like that gets me bullish about the Solana ETF. I feel like, that they're the next one to, in my opinion, the next one to get the attention, right? I know XRP has been performing pretty well, on these run-ups with Ethereum, but Solana does have the attention of the space. And love it or hate it, it's like there was a new launchpad that launched today with a lot of capital behind it, right? And so, these ETFs that get approved and there's liquidity and capital that gets poured into them, it's going to benefit all of us eventually to a point to where, people are just making money because number go up, and then their retail wells, they don't have to dabble in the ETF. It just brings the price of Solana up naturally, because of the participation headlines, and if they do the in-kind redemptions as well, and then staking, that's a part too that we don't really get into, right? So the listing standards is really great, because what it does is it gives further clarity to an industry that has some PTSD from getting screwed over by our regulatory entities.
Yeah, 100%. This is just good, and I do think that in October, we're going to see between probably 3 and 6 cryptocurrencies all getting publicly traded ETFs. And if that does happen, because I don't think Paul Atkins wants to pick a winner. He doesn't want to say they've already picked Bitcoin and Ethereum. You got to remember, this administration hasn't put any crypto ETFs through yet. This was all the last administration. That was Gary Gensler who pushed the Bitcoin and the Ethereum one through, right? So now we have, potentially this new administration. I don't think they're going to pick a winner. I think they're going to have Solana, XRP, Cardano, maybe the top leading minus stable coins, right? All at the same time getting these ETFs. And that would actually be absolutely insane. But just the announcement alone is enough to skyrocket these assets. Skyrocket. I'm talking 3-4x's. I mean, especially if Ethereum is still performing really well, having that ETF.
Yeah, you're right. It will. It will just, and there will be like this positive sentiment around the space as well, from TradFi to retail wells, and eventually the hope is to really kind of get retail in general excited about the space again. And number go up always makes people excited, right? So
yeah. 100%. And September, October, this is from Eric Balchunas. He says September or October timing expected for multiple altcoin ETFs approvals. So, I mean, it's getting really good, man. Everything's lining up. I mean, potentially we get the ETF approvals this year. We get rate cuts next year. I think we're about to enter a cycle that is going to be extraordinary, like absolutely insane. Actually, it might even be stronger than the 2021 cycle, in the sense that we're so built up right now of so many different catalysts that we've never even thought of having all at the same time.
Yeah, No, you're right. It's like a kind of like a storm that's coming, a good storm that's all coming together, and so many catalysts. And I get that's probably why that people are hoping that the ETF or not the ETF, the rate cut comes through, because it's like, oh man, that's like the cherry on
Yeah.
top. That's the icing on the cake. That's the punch that gets us through. But if we have everything in line, all these other catalysts that are coming into play, and that's not even going over like these corporations or Web2 companies getting involved either. We don't need necessarily that rate cut yet, and then we can wait till 2026, and then once maybe 2026 will be the true alt year or something, right? We get up until July or whenever it calms down. So
yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. Bo Hines says the U.S. aims to accumulate Bitcoin in a budget-neutral way while building long-term infrastructure and clear regulations for digital assets. So they put that report. It's apparently like 136 pages long, and it's basically nothing that we didn't know already. It was all the same shit, just like same stuff, just regurgitated in these documents. But now the documents are out there, they are live. But the main thing is Bo Hines commented on was they want to figure out a way to accumulate Bitcoin, but not spend taxpayer money doing so. How do you do that? Like, I don't understand how you would do that.
I think that they're probably going to wrap it into some, like tariff revenue or some sort of thing that maybe at the end of the day, like the taxpayer pays for anyways. But from a technical perspective, the government can say the taxpayer isn't paying for it.
Yeah.
It's the importer that's paying for it. But regardless, as long as they're doing it strategically and it's helping, like either pay off debt or whatever the strategy is, I think most Americans would be okay with it as long as it's not like hurting the everyday American.
Yeah, the problem is the people on the
other
channels,
opposition
CNBC and stuff, they're always going to be like, we're buying, we're pumping, we're using taxpayer money to pump his bags and all this stuff. But it is what it is. And then right after all that, Treasury Secretary Bassett posts a video titled "Crypto Welcome Home." So this is this is the Treasury of the Secretary of Treasury. This is the guy who has Alexander Hamilton's old job, right? This is him. Like, this is the guy right here, basically saying crypto welcome home. This is the most bullish thing that I've ever seen in my life. Could you imagine the last administration? Like, what was her name? The little tiny little troll looking lady,
Janet Yellen.
Janet Yellen. Like, this is her old job. This is crazy. So, all right, let's get into some more fun stuff here. radFi introducing a virtual mint, a new launchpad for Bitcoin degens by radFi. So, Scott, last night I was I got messaged by someone who's close to that team. Says, hey, Scott's going to be on the Ordinal show. You should hop in, listen. He's going to drop some alpha. And I was like, all right, cool. So I hopped in there. Not a big fan of spaces, but I listened to the whole thing, and he made Leonidas and Trevor giddy, bro. Like, they were like giddy little girls. Trevor even like hopped off. I think he was like writing a check. Like, he got so crazy with it. But let me show you kind of what radFi is building right now. So this is a L1 platform, right? This is not Odin.fun using ICP in the back end, nothing like that. This is a full layer one, thing. You do have to I noticed though with radFi, you do have to kind of like deposit in. But I don't know with these, I don't think you have to, right? So this is the first one. This is King of the Block. This actually bonded, I guess you would say. And the best thing about this though is if you, let's just say you get into something and it doesn't bond, you get a full refund. Like I said, we'll have to look into it. I don't know the details of that. I did reach out to Scott to come on the show. He said potentially next week or the week after. So we're going to get him to kind of come on and explain that. But it looks amazing. It looks great. And the fact that, this is all on L1, what do you think about that? What do you think about potentially this being the new launchpad? And there's no more like doing the bullshit where we have to give the miners all our fees. They're actually minting these tokens right now. And then once these tokens are minted, then you're able to try and get them bonded by putting Bitcoin in.
Yeah, but how are they able to do the the computational stuff on layer 1 is my question. Were you able to kind of get a understanding
What
of that?
constitute, like, what do you mean though? Like, what needs to be that way?
Um, so the fact that like if it doesn't mint out and you get a refund, like how does that? Is it basically they're just keeping track, so they're centralizing that aspect of
It's
it?
a centralized platform. This is not
Yeah.
decentralized whatsoever.
Okay.
So what they're doing is you create the coin, they go over to the platform, they go over to the Bitcoin blockchain, and they inscribe it for you. You have to wait for that to come alive, and then once that inscription is in their wallet, not inscription, once that those runes are in their wallet, you are then able to come in here and use it. So I think the creator of the coin has to pay for the inscription or the runes, right? They get the runes for you, and then they basically just, and after it's bonded, I think they airdrop, using their platform, they airdrop all the holders that rune, and then you're able to swap it and hold it and stuff like that. But when you're using this pre-bond, I think when you're trading it, I don't even know if you can swap them first, and I do know, like, if it doesn't complete, then you get refund.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this has been attempted on Merlin, which is a layer 2. So basically, instead of like the decentralized approach with smart contracts and stuff like that, they're doing a centralized approach. And Scott's awesome. We've had him on the show. We've talked about Bound. We've talked about radFi, and I love how he tries to push the boundaries, him and his team. And this is exciting. Let's see if it catches. That's the hardest thing with the Bitcoin ecosystem space is to really get everybody to be on board with it, right? Or get them to at least even try it. Sometimes it's really hard. Hopefully they have a strong strategy with that. Really trying to curate the communities to try it, whether that's ordinal communities or Chinese communities or whatever. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck. It's not easy building over here, but this looks really cool, and I like what Scott brings to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think Scott just eliminated giving miners free money. I think with this, giving the miners your money, your rune money, because now by using this platform over just minting something like minting on Luminex or something, you're actually creating a liquidity pool. Like so right now, if you mint something on, let's just say Luminex or whatever it is, then you're just giving the miners your fees. There is no liquidity pool unless some whale wants to create one. But in this situation, they're creating the liquidity pool for you, and they're doing everything for you. They can go right to your swap. As soon as that token is available, you can go right to your swap here, and then you can swap for it. So like, why would anybody not use this now? Why would anyone use Luminex over this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would rather do it this way. And plus, you have like there's more of like a community like gathering and like trying to reach a like-minded goal of minting out so it could bond and all those things, right? So
yeah, it's brand new. They were having some problems this morning with the servers and stuff. Too many people jumped on it after the Leonidas thing. And Scott came out with a tweet. He said, radFi is the best place to launch and trade Bitcoin tokens, full stop. We solved two of the biggest issues facing the on-chain Bitcoin ecosystem: user experience and liquidity. That is 100%. The user experience definitely feels better here. I do love the fact that I'm not wasting. Let's just say I get into something and I don't it doesn't mint out or it doesn't bond. Then I'm not screwed. I get that full refund back. I don't know. I'm really impressed by this launchpad. I love this launchpad.
yeah, one thing too is that like visually it's appealing too. People
Yeah.
think that like that doesn't matter that much, and in certain instances it doesn't. But it's either, in my opinion, if you're not going to have something that's visually appealing and that looks cool or whatever, then have something plain, be minimalistic. Don't. But if you have something that is like a lot of things everywhere, but it just doesn't appeal, that's tough. I think they did a good job with that. I have to mess around with the platform more though to get a true feel of it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna mess around with it too. But yeah. So that's radfi. All right.
Do they have
Dot.
a
Go ahead.
decks that they're partnering? Oh, I guess they have their own decks.
They
Okay.
have their own decks. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
with their decks, real quick, they actually have a lot of liquidity that I really didn't even know about. Why ain't there liquidity showing up here? Do I got to connect my wallet to see the liquidity? I don't know. I was seeing it earlier this morning, but maybe they're just having some issues right now with it. But yeah, so in the liquidity pool, Bitcoin and BUSD are like the number one pair, and then Pups is the second pair. Pups has like $70,000 in liquidity on it.
Wow.
So that's pretty
Not
big.
bad.
Yeah. And I think the Bitcoin BUSD has about 100,000. So all right. Okay. So last night I was just bored on the timeline, and I saw this tweet from DotSwap. They said DotSwap quietly dropped a new pool, BTC Wisdom Eye, 0.17 of volumes. I went and checked it out. And it's a token that they kind of grabbed and put up here. But somebody added lots of liquidity for this token. And what do you think about that? Like people just minting out a full token and then just adding liquidity to it without, that's it. Like that's all they did. They added the full supply of Wisdom Eye and the full supply of Bitcoin into the pool.
It's actually smart if they have an actual like project or community behind it and they have plans, because they can control the success of the token this way. Now, a lot of people say, well, how much percent is the team going to hold and this and that?
Well, they put the whole supply. They put the entire supply in liquidity pool.
Oh, well, there you go. Then it's a free market at that point. But the problem is that, okay, yeah. So what's the market cap right off the bat?
It's saying 13.013. So it depends how much Bitcoin they put with it, right? That'll decide the market cap, and obviously the people that come in and buy it. So you are seeing some buys on this today, 9:33 a.m. this morning. You did see a buy. So it's very slow. It's like every couple of hours, but I thought that was a really, really great idea. Like instead of airdropping or anything, say, hey, I added the Bitcoin and I added this token, because like you can't get your Bitcoin stolen because there's zero supply on the market, right? So if you just add your Bitcoin with the token, people have to come in with Bitcoin and buy the token.
Yeah, actually, it is pretty smart, and then you earn the fees too.
Yeah. So maybe they just want to earn fees, and this is kind of like another way of launching a token.
I wonder how much Bitcoin they added to it. If it was like a typical kind of like OG Ethereum launch, because it might be a good way to start doing the token from now. But the thing is that they don't typically put all the supply along with the pairing token in the beginning. So that's the difference. So the FDV is like right off the bat valid at this point, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm having trouble finding it here, but
maybe you could do. Is there a search thing at the top, magnifying glass? There it is. Just maybe type in the name. There it is.
Okay, so about $42,000.
Yeah, it's not a bad start.
No, not bad at all.
Not
Volume is
a
super
bad
low.
start.
So, I don't know. I thought that was such a cool idea. Grabbing the whole supply, putting it with, probably what, $20,000 in Bitcoin, and then locking it together. But yeah. All right, moving along here. So FTX Alameda has sent 20,736 Ethereum worth $79 million for staking. FTX and Alameda are under the supervision of a bankruptcy court in Delaware, and their assets, including ETH, are being managed by the estate, maximizing creditor recovery. Staking the ETH to earn passive yield is a permissible and strategic way to preserve and grow the estate's value during the legal process. What do you think about this? They said, hey, we're holding this ETH here. Let's go stake it. And obviously this is a court system that's doing this. So I don't know. I don't like how they're staking this ETH here, because is it even their ETH? I don't know.
Well, yeah, this is definitely some blurry lines here that are being crossed, right? Because how much of this is supposed to go towards paying, restitution or whatever back to people that lost money, or I don't know those details, but if it is part of it, then I think that's pretty shady, because you don't know, what if there was a hack or something that happened, then it's gone.
Well, this isn't that. So basically, FTX, the exchange, had to sell down all of its assets in November of 2022, right? So that was everything that was on the FTX. But the tokens that Alameda was holding, those tokens were just held; they weren't sold down.
Gotcha.
And this is a part of that.
So this is theirs, technically.
Is it though? That's the question because we didn't know they had their hand in the cookie jar, right? So it's like it's
well, didn't they have to sell down all the assets that were a part of paying back?
FTX only.
Well, then Alameda legally, yeah, it's theirs because there's not, unless there's a legally binding contract that they, have to send these funds to certain people, then, I think at that point, if that's the case, then I guess it's okay to let them stake, but it's kind of like benefiting while you're in jail or whatever, right? Like while you're in trouble, you still can do work. I don't know. You can still work in jail, right, and earn money. It's just like 50 cents on the hour or something.
Yeah, but if you have assets, they can still be out there making money for you, right? If you have them in the market.
True. So, that is true.
So, all right. All right, let's jump into today's fear and greed. So last week we're at 67. Yesterday we're at 63. My hint for you is we're a tiny bit less than that 63 from yesterday.
62.
Boom, got it. I think that's fair. I think 62 is fair today. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think 62 is fair. I think we're gonna probably be in the low 60s until next week, until we get over. Maybe Sunday night we get an exciting movement, but we'll see though. Month end is tomorrow's the first day of the new month, so we could see something earlier than expected.
Really good. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. So Artura, these guys are live. We just had a conversation with them yesterday. We're going to potentially be doing a cool segment with them that actually could teach you guys a lot about charting and trades and stuff like that. But that'll probably be in a couple of weeks. That's going to be really fun. But Artura, they're building on Botonics, and we put out the video yesterday with the co-founder of Botonics. You guys need to go watch it if you haven't. You really got to kind of learn what they're doing there. And Botonics could be one of the top chains because they're using like these centralized what is it? What you call it? M2s or multi-sigs? Or
MSs, MS1,
right?
MS2, yeah, multi-sig 1, multi-sig 2. They label them that way.
It's really cool because that's to say if one of the multi-sigs is messed up or is not being used properly, then the other ones come in and kind of cover that. So it's really cool video. Go check that out. And Artura is building there. They're a leverage trading platform. What you can do there, you can take leverage out on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and USD. Eventually, they're going to be adding some really awesome coins as well, maybe even some stocks. I don't know, but really excited for that. So definitely go over there. Get on their leaderboard, guys, because using Artura will get you in some points. We all know what points equal to. But when you're using Artura as well, you can also get potential something from Botonics, right? Whether that's Bitcoin or something else. But we're going to be doing an airdrop video, kind of walking you through the entire Botonics ecosystem and how to get the incentives from Botonics. Definitely check that out and check out Artura.finance.
Absolutely, guys. And before we get into some Bitcoin price action, which I'm going to go over the monthly to kind of see where we are for the last day of this month. But if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us. That's important. Well, at least we think it is. And then also subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, let's share the space. Hit that like as well. Same thing on Abstract, guys. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. All right, let's take a look here at some price action. Starting off with, I'm going to start with the monthly chart here. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin's monthly chart. So Bitcoin has been looking very strong, going all the way back to October of 2023, man. We haven't gotten down below the 50-day EMA. That's awesome, right? Now, let's take a look here at the last couple months. All right, so we actually didn't even make it to oversold, or we just barely, like the fast line here, barely touched it, and we came back. But these are the moments that we reached all-time highs, right? So we got to 123 here. This is the all-time high Bitcoin has ever gotten. We hit that in July. Now, what does the rest of the year have? Or at least we can talk about August here. So August actually looks like the momentum is still here for Bitcoin, right? You can see the MACD, which is one of the best leading momentum indicators, is not showing exhaustion right now. The fast line isn't showing a curl up yet, but let's say that we start to pump, we push back past the previous all-time high, we get to 128, 130. This starts to curl up here. So, you know, something to be looking at. Like in the more that you zoom out and you have these higher time frames, it's larger time frames. The monthly is one of the largest, obviously, right? The more that I believe these leading and momentum indicators are important because they mean more. All the data that's been captured from the smaller time frames leading up to that monthly gets counted into this, right? So this is just basically telling you where Bitcoin wants to go. And so for me, I do look at August as being a month that Bitcoin could possibly hit a new all-time high. But we'll see if that's the case, because, you know, we could always turn back around if there's some sort of a headline, or maybe we just range for a little bit, right? Now, it looks healthy here on Bitcoin's monthly chart. Now, let's take a really quick look at this smaller time frames. Let's look at the hour. The hour looks like it wants to chop with a little bit of downtrend here. You don't see too much of a strong, indication, I guess you should say, by the MACD here. The sell pressure is pretty small. Yes, the fast line crossed the orange line, the slower line, but, you know, it's just showing that, you know, this was going to happen right here, this little bit of a downtrend. Bitcoin's been really choppy, and it's been kind of, you know, in accumulation mode is what it seems like, you know, going from high 115, low 116, all the way to 120 and back and forth, while Ethereum has been the one that has been hyper aggressive to the upside. But Ethereum did recently reach that little bit of choppiness as well. But let's take a look here. So I drew this line because I feel like this was, you know, that kind of last line of defense in terms of support for Bitcoin right here. And let's kind of zoom out. All right, let's take a look here. So we're looking at the 117,400. So there's not a lot of volume here. The support does win out in this area, though. Right below that, resistance comes in and has the advantage, but then support again picks back up, then resistance. So what does that tell me? A lot of back and forth here, meaning probably we don't get too far unless some huge sell bids or buy bids actually come into play. Then we can kind of bump back up here where there's a little bit more, you know, jungle to get through with this volume, right? But if you look at the levels above this you know, last point of support here on the shorter time frame, you can see right here resistance has the edge a little bit at the 117,550. Then we go back to support at 117,700. So yeah, it's just a lot of mixed data in terms of, okay, choppy is what we're probably going to see to maybe for today. We'll see. Choppy maybe with this upside, though. We are starting to see the upside in the area that we are right now, though, at the 118,300. Obviously support has the advantage here. We're looking at a pretty good advantage of support in the 118,350, 118,500, and 118,600. It's all support here. So the difference is there's more volume, right? So it's going to be harder to push through. But if we can get some really strong bids up here, we get up here and there's not much volume up here, and it's all support, guys, up here. So if we can really push through some of these like rougher patches areas right here, and I say rougher, I just didn't think there's a lot of volume of back and forth, probably a lot of sell orders, but more buy orders. We get through here, we get to this area, we could see something nice to end the month. That would be great, right? Because it's all dominated by the support in these areas, and this is going back to Tuesday 7 p.m. Even if we squeeze that in a bit and we go back to you know, this morning at midnight, let's see if that kind of stays the same. So it is a little bit more mixed in the more recent support and resistant battle, but I am seeing support have the advantage in this area too. So we'll see what happens there. 4 hour looking 4 hours looking okay. Weak buy pressure, though. Very weak, in my opinion. When you see this, it's also closed up. So if we do get a push, though, on the hour chart to 120, this will open back up. We'll see some stronger data from the momentum indicator here. And then this will probably open back up too, because we are sitting right at the 80-point mark, which is right where you get to overbought territory. So we haven't even been overbought really at all. So we'll see how Bitcoin plays out. Let's take a look at Ethereum, though. We'll start with the monthly chart here on Ethereum. So Ethereum definitely looks way more primed. If we go back to what I was looking at on Bitcoin for the monthly, Bitcoin's had its like buy pressure. This started back in October of 2023, and it hasn't stopped really. Just some little exhaustions here and there. This is why I get so bullish on Ethereum lately. Like, we are just coming out of the sell pressure, man. We haven't had, yes, we had a little bit of buy pressure back in Q4 of starting Q4 of 2023, leading into 2024, which was definitely really weird year for Ethereum. You can see this is 2024 right here, all of this. But then now we're coming out of the sell pressure, right? And we're just right there once this crosses over. So what could do that? Maybe ending the month on getting to 4,100 could definitely push this through. And then we already think August is gonna, well, at least I do think August is gonna be a bullish month for October, because I mean that's what these indicators are telling me. They're telling me that August is going to be bullish, right? They're telling me that August Ethereum's been oversold big time in 2025. That's what these indicators are telling me, and that's what the data shows. So for me, I expect August to be a good month for Ethereum. September, let's just wait till we get through August first. But I do think August is going to be a bullish month for Ethereum. That is what I'm seeing for the day for Ethereum. Though it does look like it's very similar to Bitcoin. We know that they follow each other, or Ethereum follows Bitcoin right now. But both of them take off. Don't be surprised if Ethereum starts out sprinting Bitcoin. That is my expectation. Is that it's definitely taken the punches better recently, and so I think it will elevate better as well. And I love Bitcoin. I'm not saying Ethereum is better than Bitcoin. It's not, in my opinion, but it is number 2, and the opportunities there. You can't deny that. All right, let's take a look at the crypto bubbles here. So the bubbles are giving us about it's not too bad. The mix is much better today. I feel like it's about 75% red, 25% green. Some notables here: the Ton Network up 7%. Sonic having having a thrust up 8.6%. This guy. Oh, did you take your long? That is the question.
16, dude. Yeah, we were talking about that last week, how we thought like the pump bottom was in, dude. So
yeah, I mean, for sure, definitely felt like the pump bottom was in, and at 16 was a 16.3% pump up. We're looking at it's gotten back to 0.00, almost 3 here. So I don't know. Now I feel a little bit like weary of taking a you don't want to take a long once it's pumped 16%.
Well, that was news based too. It wasn't just like it bottomed out. So they came out and they said 100% of the fees now will be to buy back the token.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
And you got to remember how much they made on fees at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, 800 million since launch. So that's a lot of money that could potentially be used to buy back the pump token. But they lost mind share a lot. So they're down to like 14-15% mind share.
100%.
So
but that was all on them. That was all on them. When you dominate a industry or an environment for so long, some people get cocky, and that's what I think happened with them. They just got so. I mean, at the end of the day, like they could shut shop down right now and live comfortable life for the rest of their life. I mean, they earned
made $1 billion.
Yeah, exactly. so at the end of the day, they've reached success no matter what, but they are losing mindshare a lot. But we can talk about that a little bit later. Pulse looks like is pumped up here about 6.1%. Hyperliquid bounced back. Man. Yep. Hyperliquid bounced back 1.6%. Flocky up 2.3%. Hex, this is interesting. Typically not down whenever Pulse X is up. Hex is down 7%, but it had pumped very, very hard, so it makes sense now. You got Uniswap pulling back 3.7%. Jupiter pulling back 2.5%. Radium pulling back 1.4%. Curve Finance pulling back 1.9%. Dogecoin pulling back 1.6%. Cardano pulling back 1.4%. What else do we have here? HBAR pushing up 2.1%. Some big news is probably going to come out of them soon, I feel like. XRP pulled back 1.2%. Flare pulled back 1.4%. All right, let's take a look at the top 200 real quick. All right. And if there's any coins that you want us to take a look at, let us know, guys. Rect pulled up 12.9%. ZBCN pulls up 6.5%.
Damn.
B pulled up 5.6%. IOTech X, I don't know, is that like an IOTA thing? Pulled up 11.7%. T Fuel pulled up 17.6%. Brett back in the green pulled up 4.7%. FTT with that news probably pulled up 1.4% there. Turbo back in the green as well, 2.7%. MOG pulling up 0.8%. Starknet pulled back 1.1%. SNEC, after a couple of really good days after being announced listed on crypto.com, has pulled back 3.5%. Dog has pulled back 2.7%. Eigenlayer pulled back 4.7%. So looking not too bad. Yes, it is a more of a red day than green day, but you know, at least everything's not red.
Yeah, 100%. I do feel like today's just everyone just feels like hungover from yesterday's meeting. I don't know. I feel like everything's just kind of really flat. I mean, there you do see some stuff down that you wasn't on your list there. But you see stuff like Tau down 5%. Like that's crazy to me, right? And then if you go down here, you do see like some of the stuff, you know, other stuff. Sui is kind of flat. Farcoin pretty much flat, like you said, and Anon flat. So AIXPT flat as well. So a lot of no volume today. That's what it feels like. But yeah, let's jump into today's roll call here. On this show, we do a thing. Well, first is first, and the first comment of each day, we take that comment and we bring it over to this Google Doc that I have here. And as you can see, it is my man 1+ Sack. Congratulations, you got your first win of the year. He says, "OMG, yeah, man, absolutely awesome. I'm happy for you. He got his first win, and it's the last day of the month. Shout out to you, my friend." But this seems to be a battle between WebDro and Lackey Lukey right now for that Bitcoin frog. But we are having a second and third place prize. We'll let you guys know what they are very shortly. But we're going to do something special for everyone on this list. But like I said, we're not sure what it is yet, but we'll definitely do something. So definitely want to make this list. And 1+ At made it today. Congratulations. WebDro says, "Congrats, 1+ At. Remember, the Reaper can get you if you don't keep the chat active every 3 hours." Really? I didn't know that, WebDro. Tim Baker says, "A new winner." Hydrosapien says GM Legends. Hydrosapien says never number go up. Yes, sir. Hopefully soon. 1+ At says, "Thanks, WebDro. We'll try to lock it in." Lucky Lukey says 1+ At. Congrats. Merlin's Lucky is here every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. Chota is here. Congrats. Big up to my man Chota every single day. Rare Sats Dom is here. He says, "Yes, Bitcoin is truth." Says, "Should I hold dog or mim right now? The Kraken pump could be good." What do you think, Yagobi? Would you hold dog or mim right now, even with Kraken about potentially list mim?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like like mim has had a lot of hype already, you know, so it's like for me, I'd just be a little bit worried that like
Yeah,
it's gonna dump after the listing for a little bit, but long term, both are, I think, good. Probably mim has more X's, but also we don't know how crazy dog's gonna get this cycle. Both, I mean, I think you're okay with both, you know, so
yeah,
whatever decision you make, I think you'll make a good one.
yeah. I think that you know, mim's probably the one to hold right now for at least the next 3 weeks. I don't know if you've seen, but the guys from Kraken are coming out with August, was it Runegist? So I don't know what that's about, but the CEO again posted a picture of runes, and I do think they're going to tomorrow. They're going to put out their papers. They're going to put out their because you remember when they put out the dog listing announcement, when dog was put on the roadmap, you did see it was a Friday when they did that. So I'm actually thinking tomorrow they're going to come out with a roadmap of a whole bunch of runes being listed in Runegist is their term. So Abstract says, Abstract is like the early days of Blur. Do not miss it. Do you think Abstract could be as big as airdrop as Blur? And do you think you should potentially be using it over there?
Yes, I do think it could be. I think it could be bigger. You know, and the reason why I'm bullish on it is because of Luca Nets. I feel like Luca Nets has it's just, I mean, I know everybody's like, "Oh man, Yagobi loves it." No, it's just facts. The guy's just like, you know, turns things into success. You know, Pudgy, Abstract, and the thing about Abstract, I bet you he feels like it's one of his hardest like things to you know, challenges that he's gone through, because Abstract, the thing about Abstract, so they've already reached a good amount of success in terms of meme token people, right? But also the gaming part of it, they've been able to integrate that in. The hardest part is the streaming part, but it's just like streaming though. It's like stay consistent, just don't give up. And I think like the Abstract streaming side is going to pick up, and so I think the ABS token is going to be like solid.
Yeah, no, 100%. And to your point, streaming right now, regardless, if you stream crypto stuff, you're not doing as good as you would like, right? So it's one of those things where it's again, yeah. I think Abstract has the biggest opportunity to really pump that chain when they announced the airdrop, because they have a point system which is pretty much pre airdrop pump, right? And then you definitely want to be earning points over there for sure. K99 is here. Shout to K99. Vader Time says, is August pump time? Right. Yeah, I think we talked about it earlier, but I think, you know, August is going to pump for sure. Spinger says, are you bullish on DGOTS?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry to tell you, no. Like, I know you. It seems like you like DGOTS, but I'm not. I'm not bullish on Frank. If
You're not
like,
bullish on Frank, bro?
No. Are you kidding me? But I think that like the only time that like he'll probably have success is whenever like everything is mooning, it's hard to lose, and he'll come back, and then like and that's when I think no, I would never touch anything that he launches. Or if I did and it's in that environment, if it's an NFT collection, I would completely play that as a flip, and I would not hold that longer than 1 to 2 weeks max.
Yeah.
Sorry, DGOD guys, but like that's just, he messed it up. He messed the brand up too much.
He did. And even if he did step away as well, though. So Chips and Dip says, yesterday a flop, more crypto, less macro. I agree. Satoshi Nakamoto says Robinhood has a huge gainer in Q2. He's talking about the so they like 90% their profit on crypto from year over year, which I guess was should have been salt. It's like you should have seen that coming, right? Because you know, the old administration was so against crypto, and this year Robinhood has done really well with their crypto stuff for sure. Crypto Winner says, I want today to be over and start August. I feel the same way. I want today to be over, and I want August to just be here. Glass Hopper says, what's up? KDN is here, says, we're about to take off. Dude, I think so. I really think so. I think there's a combo for the storm. Nighthawk UXL says, GM, victory is at hand. Let's go, Nighthawk, my guy. Super Van is here every single day. GM, my guy there. The Cash Cats comes in with the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to Cash, our guy. Appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. Mice Elf says, just as I DCA'd in front of the past few years, I'm going to DCA out as I approach top signals. That's honestly the probably way to go. That's probably the way to go. The same way you added money in, the same money you should be taking it out. But I'm a little different, though. I want to go into Bitcoin, not cash. I think that's the difference there. I just think that Bitcoin's not going to have a significant dump this time, because there's just too many catalysts to kind of keep it up. And I think Bitcoin has become bigger than what it used to be. I think it's become like the NASDAQ and the S&P. And even when that stuff does dump, it eventually corrects, but right back to where it was and goes higher. So Stan says, with BTC DeFi becoming the narrative, will Bitcoiners switch their strategies en masse? If not, how dependent are BTC DeFi projects are on Bitcoiners for survival? Thanks. That's a really good question. I never thought about that, because these DeFi projects need these whales to come in. Without these whales coming in, they're not going to be able to earn the fees or the volume, right?
Yes, but I mean, like we could also, you know, find a new group of participants, right? Like the hands are being switched from the old Bitcoin maxi whales to kind of like these people that play with the ETF. Go watch the Botanics interview, because we talk a little bit about that. And I think because look, let's be honest, like some of those other old-minded Bitcoin people, they're never going to come over. So we need new participants, in my opinion. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, we need these ancient Bitcoin whales to come online and get
Well,
yield.
well, the
Right?
thing is that like, so I know that they're saying that, you know, the old Bitcoin whales will do two things. They will use their Bitcoin to make more Bitcoin, or they can get cash for collateral. They
Borrow
don't want to
against it.
let go of their Bitcoin. But is that going to be the extent of Bitcoin DeFi? Do you think is just going to be those two things? Because if not, we need more open-minded, capitalistic-minded people that are say, okay, I can make more money over here because Bitcoin is the premium, you know, token and all of crypto, et cetera, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that bullish on Bitcoin DeFi, honestly. Like, I do see the need for it and stuff like that, but it's, I don't, you know, getting 4 or 5%. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be very centralized. I think the majority of this decentralization is not going to be. You're not going to have. You might have 1% of all the Bitcoin, right? I just feel like you're going to see these companies come out like Coinbase, like, you know, these banks and stuff like that, and say, hey, we'll give you yield on your Bitcoin, right? And I think Bitcoin DeFi is going to be a very centralized thing. I think Ethereum DeFi is the real deal DeFi. I think everything else, I don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah, and we don't know what it's going to look like too. You know, maybe some projects like park their like main token in Bitcoin DeFi, but then they do a lot of things cross chain. We know that that's been, you know, some talked about strategies. You know, but I don't know. You're right. Like, you know, I'm bullish on it, but I just don't know how it's going to play out other than just the borrowing and lending thing. But again, if there's enough people participating in borrowing and lending or collateralizing your Bitcoin, then you got them to the table. Now you got to bring some of these other things and be like, why don't you try a little bit of this? Why don't you try a little bit of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's how you can separate them a little bit more. We'll see.
The problem is though too is like if I was going to take out a loan on my Bitcoin, I would just do it on Coinbase. Right, just because I know that Coinbase publicly traded, I trust Coinbase, and I know that like.
So you would rather
Bitcoin
have a
it's not
centralized
smart
approach versus a decentralized approach?
I would. My personal Bitcoin, I would, in the sense of like if Bitcoin if Ethereum, completely different. I would go to Aave and I would take out a loan on it. Simple, easy, done, no problem at all. Bitcoin without the smart contracts, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
If I'm going to do it in a centralized way, even if there's a point of centralization, I'd rather do it through Coinbase.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense for sure.
Stan says, can Stacks survive with unveiling of Arch Botonics?
What's Stacks?
Merlin? So Stacks is the coin that the Bitcoin maxis buy for leverage, for Bitcoin leverage. That's all Stacks has ever been, right? It's just a coin. It's basically their meme coin. It's the Bitcoin L2 meme coin. The reason why it's such a high market cap is because of the maxis. They buy it for leverage. Like that's it. Like it has volume on places like Bybit and you know, Binance and stuff like that, but no one's using that chain. But they are using it as like a Bitcoin leverage type of token.
Yeah. I was just poking fun a little bit there, but like, can Stack survive? I mean, they have. Yeah, I think they can survive. But what are they going to be doing? You know, one thing I'm starting to realize that there literally is this like door-to-door salesman approach to getting people to buy and hold your token, and it's been happening in our space for a long time. So if you can convince somebody of your narrative, then you can always survive, right? It doesn't even matter if you produce that narrative or not. And I think that's Stacks is one of those tokens, right? And so, look, I mean, Bitcoin Cash and oh my God, like Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, like if those can survive, then Stacks can definitely survive.
Yeah, no, 100%. A lot of those tokens, though, people don't even know they have those tokens. I was actually I heard someone say that. Someone was like, because you have to change your wallet. Like if you have a normal Bitcoin wallet, it only picks up the Bitcoin blockchain. But you got to put your words into a different wallet that actually can read the Satoshi Vision and the Bitcoin Cash. So the guy who sent all of his Bitcoin Cash out, I don't think he realized that he had Bitcoin Satoshi Vision in there as well, because he never sent that out, right? Because he probably didn't even know how to find it, because you got to put your words into a different wallet.
That sucks though.
Some wallets just don't, like, you know, some wallets don't say it. Like if you had, you know, you could send, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision to a Unisat wallet, but the Unisat wallet's not going to show you have it in
Yeah, but
there.
like, how was it automatically sent out though?
The same wallet address. So every it wasn't automatically sent out. It was just born in your wallet, basically, because it was forked. So if you had
Okay.
one Bitcoin, you got one Bitcoin Social Vision, you got one Bitcoin Cash. It just showed
But
up
like,
there.
but he lost it or no?
They didn't lose it. They just
Didn't know it was
never
there.
put their words into a wallet that can read it and then send
Gotcha.
it out.
Gotcha.
So, but you
So
could
I
go
didn't-
to a Satoshi Vision's like mempool scanner, and then you could see it, put your wallet address in there, and you could see it. But a lot of the early Bitcoiners, they have Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, but they don't even care if they have it or not. Even though it's worth like, it's probably worth like $13,000, $14,000 for some of them, but they just don't care. Myself says, remember 2017 didn't have Fed rate cuts. Instead, it had 3 rate hikes, and crypto still pumped it. Wow. I wasn't paying attention back then, I gotta say, to the rate hikes and stuff. I actually wasn't even in crypto then. But yeah, I'll look into that for sure myself, because that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's whenever Trump was against crypto too, because he was afraid that it was going to threaten the dollar and et cetera, et cetera. And but he was also getting a lot of advice from people that he got advice to put into certain positions. And
Yeah.
stuff. So I'm pretty sure the banking institution was all over that.
100%. 100%. Stan says, can the channel recommend books or literature with a Bitcoin focus? Thanks. So my favorite Bitcoin book, and I learned so much, Digital Gold by Nathaniel Popper. Absolutely amazing book. This actually walks you through how Finney, it walks you through like the early days of Satoshi. Best book I've ever read. This helped me learn so much about Bitcoin's history. This goes all the way up to, everything. It goes up to about 2015, 2016 is kind of when this book ends. But like it is almost perfect to kind of get the early days of it. And there's other books as well. There's a book by the Winklevi. It's kind of like it works well with this book because it kind of picks it up right as this book ends. Because they talk about the Winklevi in like the last couple chapters. And then the Winklevi wrote a book basically explaining from their Facebook days all the way to, they found crypto in a beach. They were actually in a beach on like a beach partying. And then they, somebody was like, hey, you got about this Bitcoin thing. And that person ended up being Charlie Shrem, who ends up going to jail and stuff. So it's really good. The Learn Bitcoin's history is actually really awesome. So definitely check out this book right here. It's Digital Gold Bitcoin. So you have any literature or anything that you read?
No, I mean, not. I know that like a couple of guests that we've had on have written some books about Bitcoin, like Mark Jeffrey, and we haven't had Fred on. I was trying to get Fred on, but yeah, I mean, no, I think you'd probably be the best resource for that because you read like about 3 or 4 of them.
About four Bitcoin books, yeah, and the Ethereum book's really good too. It's called Ethereum Virtual Machine. It's really good. It takes you through like the Charles Hoskinson days and how Vitalik found him and how Vitalik found Gavin Wood. That one is really, really good. I forget what that is called. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's called Ethereum book.
Ethereum book?
Well, I think it's called Ethereum Virtual Machine, but I wasn't sure, so I want to make sure that I didn't put the wrong title and I get something else. Oh, the Infinite Machine. The Infinite Machine. That's the name of the book there. But yeah, definitely that's definitely a really good one. I forget her name who wrote that. Her name was like Rossi or something. But yeah, definitely check that one out as well. But moving along here. RuneDeck says GM guys. RuneDeck says there are profits of people who have already been rugged. These are profits of people who've already been rugged. It's dilution. Remember what happened with the people who received reparations from the Madoff scheme so bad these entities don't manage the assets for free. Okay, so it's the people that have already been rugged. Okay, the dudes will catch you later. Thank you, Rinsex. Appreciate you being here today. And Nocturnal says, GM, should I hold Seiko Hamster? Seiko or Hamster? Seiko Hamster is the one token, right?
It's the same one, yeah. Seiko Hamster. Seiko is the one that's getting put in the images, so I would probably say Seiko's the safe one there.
Yeah, he was put in the one image, right?
Yeah,
I think that was it.
But it's still better than some of these other ones that aren't in it at all. So maybe they're considering some what Psycho Hamster, Base Internet Panda. Those are all in the same group to me.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it's that next level down, I think.
Yeah, Bro Bear would be considered in
Yeah.
there, right?
Probably the top of that group, though.
Mori, same thing. You would put that in there. Casey's
Maury.
coin. Yeah, Memento
Oh,
Mori.
yeah. Yep.
And then
I almost wonder, like, if Casey's coins are gonna even have. Well, there was that one video. Like, there were so many references to runes. Like, you had Wanko Manko. You had a bunch of crazy stuff, like the Rex token as well. So.
Yeah, I think Mori does well because it is parent-child to the OG's Rune Zero. Not Rune Zero.
Inscription Zero.
Inscription Zero. So I don't know. I think that one could do. I think this one could do well because it does kind of have Casey's like name on it a little bit, and on a sense too is it could do really well because it's Casey, right? Like,
how much influence does he have anymore though on tokens? Do you think, or anything like that?
I think if he came out and he did an interview and he said, "Yeah, I put out Memento Mori," and like I think Ethereum dudes would really run with it, right? I don't know if he has say here in Bitcoin, but I think that like people would look at it as say, "Oh wow, this one isn't going to zero because it's Casey."
Yeah, but then, remember you have the mempool one too. I think that one does well.
Yeah, that won't do well until next cycle though.
Yeah,
or if the mempool pumps. Because it goes all the way till the next halving is when the last one is minted. I do think that one is one to hold, and I'm probably gonna be picking that up like at the back end of the bear market going into next cycle. But yeah, I can't even find that token.
What was it called?
The hamster, Seiko hamster.
Oh, just type it in. SAIKO. See if there's any volume on it too. Oh, it's not coming up.
Where the hell did it go?
Well, I think you're in the ordinals.
I'm in runes. No, I'm in runes. Coda, Memento. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to it, but it's definitely here somewhere. There's zero volume on it though, which is weird. So, but yeah, man. Yeah, I hold it. I hold a couple $100 worth of it, maybe like $400 or $500 worth of it. Yeah, to your point. But let's jump back into some other stuff here. Got that. We got that. Okay, so Solana co-founder Anatoly said we need cryptography because the only thing AI can't generate are cryptographic signatures. AI can fake voices, faces, and entire identities, but it can't fake a cryptographic signature. Only the private key can do that. In the world of deepfakes, crypto proofs what's real. That's really interesting because you really can't tell if someone comes out and says like, hey, you can't tell that in the future, you're not gonna be able to tell that was a real video or not. But if that person puts a signature on chain, then you're 100% sure that that's his wallet and that only he can do that. That's actually proof in the pudding right there that, that's kind of like the only thing that's going to be truth in the future is a cryptographic signature because it's done by that person's wallet.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing would be, can they decrypt things, which they're not at that level, and
well, if they can decrypt things, we're screwed anyway. Crypto's known as zero, so it like, you know what I mean, like unless someone gets a hold of his wallet,
the world is going to zero in that case.
Yeah, no, 100%. But like this is really interesting too because like think about this. Think about you see someone come out with a video and saying, "Hey guys, like this isn't that." You can't really if Vitalik came out with something like that, it's like, is that really Vitalik saying that? Like, you won't really know anymore because it could be just AI. But if Vitalik says, I'm going to sign a transaction to prove that I put this out, then that's more than proof because we know Vitalik's wallet address.
Yeah, but people get hacked all the time.
Yeah, but if Vitalik's wallet got hacked,
I mean, you never know. There's that possibility, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but I do. I think the perspective that I do agree with is that it's one of the further down like difficulty levels to mimic or to imposter somebody, right? Be an imposter to somebody, because you can deepfakes are there now and voiceover deepfakes and stuff. So yeah, I would say it's like one of those last levels of, okay, they had to do so. They had to be really, really good at this to be able to get, access to it.
100%. Pantera-backed Ether machine bought 15,000 ETH worth 59 million, bringing its total to 334,757 ETH in its holding. SharpLink went out and they bought 11,259 ETH. They now hold 449,000 Ethereum worth 1.73 billion. And then Nasdaq listed Fundamental Global raises 200 million to launch an Ethereum Treasury strategy, rebranding to FG Nexus Incorporated. So this is just 3 huge entities right now that are buying, hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum, and there's more and more coming online every day, like this last one. Man, do you think that this is going to continue, and do you think it continues for the rest of this year? These companies just coming in and buying billions of dollars worth of Ethereum?
I think it continues until at least October, and then I think some late ones come in probably around that time period. But I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, at the end of the year and how they look at these things, because, let's say that like there is a traditional pullback like what we're used to, and you have companies like SharpLink that went all in and they decide, hey, we're going to hold, and Ethereum goes back to like 2,500 or 1,800, which I don't think it will, but who knows, right? You're gonna see reports of like losses at that point, you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm kind of waiting for. Like I'm definitely gonna enjoy the rise up, because there's going to be that. We're starting to see the mentions. We're seeing performance from Ethereum that's good, but it's not great yet. But once this year ends, I'm gonna be paying attention to these SharpLink companies. What do? Are they holding still? Because typically the TradFi companies, they don't flip these kind of assets like gold very like nilly-willy all the time, right? It's like they have a longer term mentality. So that's where I think our cycle can really be kind of thrown off is that. So but it's going to be interesting to see, what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm not. This is another reason why I don't think we see is it's insane bear market, because just like you said, these guys don't sell assets, and they've all kind of watched Michael Saylor, right? They've been watching him for years. And what did Michael Saylor do in the bear market last time? He bought more Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor is the most successful person in crypto right now. I mean, by far. I mean, besides someone who got it in 2011, but like he's made more money in crypto than anybody these last 4 years anyway. So they watch what he does. And now with Ethereum, you're making 4 to 6% paid back in Ethereum. And all you're doing is holding Ethereum. I just can't see these guys unstaking it and dumping it in the market and just to buy it back a couple months later. I just don't see that. I just see them just saying, all right, we're fine. We don't care what the price of Ethereum is. We're going to hold this thing. And if that's consensus between a whole bunch of these bigger whales, Ethereum's not going to have a giant dip. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see where people think that we're going to have this giant, massive dip when we're in a rate cutting cycle next year. Ethereum's like, let's just say 60-70% of the Ethereum is staked. And, all these bigger companies, they want to get a part of it. 51% of the Ethereum is used to control the chain. So they're getting votes in that chain. So if they give up their shares, they no longer get those votes anymore either. And these guys love power, right? So if you hold 10% of the supply of Ethereum, you have a 10% vote on what the chain does. And these guys don't want to give up that power. They want to make sure that this L1 that all these L2s are completing their transactions on is going to be used in a way that they want it to be used. They want say in what it's going to do. And I just don't see a massive dump. Maybe for some alts, I just don't see a massive dump in ETH and Bitcoin.
Yeah. But typically like the sales and dumps and stuff that come from these bigger coins, they trickle down the profits into the alt like the layers that I was talking about earlier. And one other thing too is now the people that used to do that, like the retail whales and stuff, do they get discouraged to sell down their Ethereum to get into these other tokens because the price isn't going down? You know what I mean? And so it's going to be very interesting to see that effect. So I agree with
sell when the price is going down. They sell when the price goes up.
Yeah, but expecting for the price to go down. right? They expect Ethereum to go down. You know
No,
what I
they're looking
mean?
for more gains. They're
Yeah,
looking for more gains than that. They're not
but
looking for 2x anymore.
if that's the case, then what happened to Bitcoin earlier today or earlier this year was, I mean, that's exactly what happened. Like people weren't letting go. That's why Ethereum was so delayed. People weren't letting go of Bitcoin because they didn't know when it was going to be done. And then
Yeah.
these institutions did say they were rotating. So maybe that's what got some of these retail whales to say, okay, the institutions are rotating, then I'm going to rotate. So in a sense, we're kind of giving institutions a little bit of the power to say, okay, now it's time to rotate into Solana, and now it's time to rotate into XRP. And then what if those institutions never like rotate into the more, you know, riskier things? I still think that there'll be some portion of these whales that do rotate themselves because they just have the gambling itch, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen a little bit of data from Bitcoin's the experience with Bitcoin this year that until there's headlines that say Tom Lee literally came out and said, this is the next opportunity. You got SharpLink coming out acting like MicroStrategy. I think that's what convinced a lot of these whales to say, okay, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin into Ethereum. Do we get that? What does that look like for risk on?
Yeah. But Bitcoin didn't dump though either. I mean, it's down. It like
didn't
3% down from its all-time high.
It didn't dump, but Ethereum ran. And so to them, they were like, they were right. You know what I mean? They were right for saying that.
Yeah.
I made money. You know, these big whales that sold some Bitcoin into Ethereum for this opportunity switch, they were right. Now, what are they going to do next?
Well, then you have to, you know, that's to say the Solana ETF gets put in and the XRP ETF, and now you can potentially switch to that. But these guys are buying the asset itself right now, right? So there's already companies buying Ethereum, buying Hyperliquid, buying, you know, the next coin that's, you know, the next week I'm thinking we're going to see another holding company come and holding Polygon Matic or some crazy or something stupid like that, like Avalanche or something. And I think they potentially, you might see stuff like that, but then they're headed further down the risk curve. And these guys, I just don't see them, you know, being risky. Ethereum's not risky in my opinion. I think Ethereum is the second safest asset in the world. For someone like Tom Lee and these guys to kind of get into that over Bitcoin, I think that's very healthy. Going into Solana and stuff like that, I think we both understand that that's 10 times more risky because it's centralized, right? So I just think that a lot of these guys, they go to a risk curve that they feel comfortable, but they're not as comfortable as us to get in to keep it going.
But I do think that there's going to be some companies that do show risk there, and I think
You're already seeing it, yeah.
Yeah, with the punks purchases and stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Those kind of things. I think if we get rate cuts and we get into this more risky environment, if they trigger that, that's where I think that explosion can come from. Because now they're saying, okay, even them, which typically, you know, not traditionally as risky, are starting to get riskier. Then these whales may be like, okay, now it's time to play some games, you know. So
yeah, 100%. Visa adds support for PYUSD, USDG, and the EURC stablecoins. Stellar and Avalanche join Ethereum and Solana for on-chain settlement. So Visa now picks up PYUSD. They already have USDC and USDT, but they've picked up more and more stablecoins here. Visa doesn't look like they're going to create their own stablecoin, but they're going to use these third-party assets. I think that's really smart on a lot of different ways, but I love that they add people. PYUSD is probably my favorite stablecoin right now. It's the one that I see myself using more and more and more. But yeah, how do you feel about Visa adding these three?
it's smart the way that they're handling it. You know, they're not the stablecoin issuer, but they can probably do something with the product now to earn for their card users too. You know, like Visa is all about like give backs in terms of, you know, making it look like they're giving a lot back to their partners, card issuers, et cetera, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they take advantage of this. Are they going to be, you know, are they going to be really creating new products? I wouldn't be surprised if they do create some sort of interest product that if you use the card, then you get the benefit somehow.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see. It is pretty cool that these are being adopted very quickly, and there's a Euro one as well. Next thing here, Michael Saylor says this will be the most important event in history of strategy. If you are interested in Bitcoin or MSTR, you should join. So they're doing a conference call tonight. It's going to be, I want to say, okay, they're 5 p.m. Eastern time. to 6:30. They're basically doing a full earnings report, and this is the first time in history that they're able to claim Bitcoin as a win or as profit, because in the past you couldn't claim unsold Bitcoin as profit, and now you can. I think, what's that called? There's a name for that when you don't sell yet.
Unrealized gains.
Unrealized gains. So this is the first time in history they're able to put their unrealized gains on the balance sheet. So we're gonna potentially have a $16 billion balance sheet now. They're gonna say, hey, we made $16 billion over the course of the last year or so, which is absolutely crazy, or last 4 years really. But it's gonna be look really good for the paper. I don't know what that's gonna do to the stock, but people are saying that this could be what pushes Bitcoin up further. This excitement, and maybe other companies opening their eyes and saying we need to be like Saylor.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I think this event too is going to be huge because it will open the eyes. I mean, hopefully, they meet expectations though. That's the biggest thing. Like, are they going to meet expectations in terms of what people are expecting their revenue to be? Do you think they do?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you could see it on chain.
Yeah.
Right, on Saylor's thing, you can see. I mean, this is the first time in history they're able to come out and say that, right? So I don't. Is that a big deal though for them to be able to say it's official? We're officially claiming we have $16 billion in gains.
Well, I think if you make it an event and you bring more eyes and more PR to it, it's good for companies that are thinking about it, right? I think that's the whole objective here, is to get other companies. He's a salesman for Bitcoin now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So to get other companies involved and to be able to show them what the possibilities are, is kind of like what I think they're doing here. But we'll see.
Yeah, man, we will definitely see. All right, so there's a new launchpad. We hinted on it earlier, but let's jump into it. There's a new launchpad that just popped up, and it is called Moonit. And it does something a lot different. You were kind of explaining this to me today, but if you go to, it's at Moonit or moon.it, you actually see this meme money markets trade real viral memes. You want to kind of break this down and explain what this is?
Yeah, so this is a new launchpad that uses AI. I think the AI site is called 9gag something. Basically there's like viral memes that get posted on there, and there's like a voting system. And once it reaches the voting system, the AI 9gag, launches that meme token with the title in it on Moonshot. And so, there's been some popular ones. One is called Jugs, which is it's right under
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost $7 million market cap now.
Damn.
And so that one's probably going to be like, I'm shocked that one actually it has being able to be the leader, just because there's going to be some pushback with that, I imagine. But I guess there's no pushback for it right now, because it's pushing up. I'll tell you that is I saw it at 8 million. What's it at now?
7.9.
Yeah, so right at $8 million market cap. I mean, so that that's obviously the leading token, but the concept's really cool because now you take kind of like these creators out of it, and these bots that are constantly launching just to make rug money off of people, and now you get to have a unbiased AI create the meme based off of now you can kind of create a bunch of, probably with a bot, create a bunch of accounts to try to upvote and stuff like that. But maybe I would hope the AI has like a bot detector on their website, because that would defeat the whole purpose. But I think it's interesting, this approach. How do you feel about it?
I love it. I think it's really cool. I'm not someone who's going to play with it though, or buy these coins up. It's just too high risk for me. But it's cool. I like it. I think it's like this. It's the old meme from forever ago, right? This is fine.
Yeah.
They created a coin for it. It's called Fine, and it's at $6,690,000. I love this one. Like if I had the stomach for it, this is one that I would definitely buy.
True.
Like that is a cool meme. That is a good meme. This is the crypto meme that every bear market we see 995 times, right? So it's like I love this one. This is like my favorite. I do love this too because you can comment. You have a whole chat room here of people just kind of talking about it. And I'm not sure if other launchpads have this. I know previous launchpads that I haven't used, that I have used, don't have this. Do you see this one like Moonshot and stuff like that?
What on Moonshot?
Like this comments and stuff?
No. I think that might be unique to them, but I'm not. I mean, look, I'm not surprised that they have that because the whole concept behind it is like being, building almost kind of like this like Reddit or 4chan of memes, and then like, voting on, hey, which one should launch. So you probably get, I don't know, you're gonna probably get a lot more meme stuff. Obviously, like funnier stuff that gets through. I mean, I think if a person launched jugs like an individual, I don't think it would do as well. But again, who knows? Maybe there's like a cabal effect in there. I'm sure there is.
What is this one about?
I have no idea.
Westman.
Oh yeah,
these are pretty funny.
That's something
I've never seen meme coins. I'm like, oh wow, these are actually pretty funny. Hydrate. Yeah. Look at this one. Don't forget to drink water so you can stay hydrated while you suffer. That's pretty funny. And the token is hydrate. Like I like funny memes. The funnier, the better it is. But do you think this could be successful? Do you think this could compete with the likes of Bonk.Fun and Pump.Fun?
I do.
Maybe a flash in a pan. Yeah.
No, I do think so because it's backed by like big players. You have like Meteora, you have multiple players in the space. Obviously.
It's Meme HelioPay, MoonPay, Dex Screener, Jupiter Exchange, and Meteora.
Yeah, those are big players in the space. Yeah. So for them, I think there's going to be success to this, and it does take away the fact from some random guy that has a bot that's launching 100 tokens a minute. Now they're based off of actual memeability, so probably get some better quality meme tokens coming through.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be paying attention to this. Fine just dropped. I'm gonna try to get in Fine. No, I'm just kidding. Let me know what you guys think. Stan says, in the channel's opinion, is Saylor's BTC Jesus or a shrewd businessman? Mechanical intentions. Thanks. I don't know.
Maniacal, like a crazy person. I think mix of both. Yeah. You can have a little bit of both there. I think he's crazy because he's like keeps just adding more Bitcoin, but at the same time, it's working. And so in that aspect, it's I think it's a little bit of both. How about you? Do you think he's like a crazy Bitcoin? Like, is he?
I think he's the smartest man in the world. I seriously think that I just think that he's chose the best asset in the world, and he had the money to do it, and he changed his company that was making really good money, and he went all in on an asset, and he already has won. I mean, he's already up potentially 30-40% on some major money, right? I mean, he put about 40 billion in, and he's up like 79 billion. He almost doubled his money. I mean, anyone who could take 40 billion and double it to 80, that's absolutely genius. It's beyond genius. And I think that, potentially one day, MicroStrategy is going to be the #1 company in the world because of the Bitcoin holdings. And he has so many avenues of revenue now holding that much Bitcoin because you can lend it out. You can earn yield against it. He's created all these yield stocks that you can get. You can basically help him buy Bitcoin and you get yield for it. He's going to find you the yield. I don't know. I think it's absolutely genius. I think Michael Saylor is going to be looked at in the future as just like somebody who just saw something and went all in. And there's people in the past have done that. And Warren Buffett did it with Coca-Cola. Warren Buffett did it with multiple different places, right? You see something that's is going to do really well, and you go all in, and that's what he did.
Yeah,
and it was very calculated too. It wasn't like he didn't get out at the bottom, and he or anything like that. He had never sold any Bitcoin ever, from my understanding.
So. Yeah, he's definitely going to be going down in history as probably the most influential outside of Satoshi, of course.
You think? Yeah, I think so. Because there's guys in the history books, you know.
I think they're
That,
gonna. I think society will look at him as that way because of how
yeah,
much
because he's a public
money
figure.
and like
Yeah.
how much money he's gotten and stuff like that.
Yep. But that's our show, guys. We got 397 people in here on X, YouTube, and Twitch. Not to mention everyone on Kick, Rumble, Abstract, and Spotify later. Appreciate every single one of you guys, and thank you for hanging with us today.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Every single day, we appreciate your support by watching us. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, and also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could give them a quick check out, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes or alkanes, you've got to do it at Sats Terminal. You're going to earn Amber points. Amber points are their point system, that is their XP system, so similar to Magic Eden Diamonds. And if you connect your wallet for the very first time, you get 1,000 Amber points. And in all the transactions that you do on there, you will earn Amber points as well. You can trade the top runes there. They have the most liquidity because they're going to find the best price and most liquid tokens for you. Alkanes as well. So head over to satsterminal.com. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your ordinals to Ethereum to take a loan out on your Taproot Wizard on Gandhi, you got to do it through Emblem Vault. You can also vault other Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs and any ordinals collections. They're looking to open this up for Base, Abstract, possibly Merlin Chain, and Solana as well. They also have an AI agent. You guys probably have heard of him. His name is Agent Hustle. Agent Hustle is going to have the Bitcoin tech stack added to him in the near future, and you can use him to vault your ordinals to help you get them and jump them over to Ethereum as well. But in the meantime, you can use Hustle to help you out in the trenches of Solana. You can ask Hustle, hey, give me a couple options for 2 to 5 safe plays, 5x safe plays, and he'll bring you back some options there. Also, he has a conditional trading option that's built into him, so you can set trades and go work out, go to the grocery store, whatever you need to do, come back and that trade will be executed. So super exciting stuff there. Also, there's a part of Hustle that is kind of new, but a lot of people are talking about it, called migrate.fund. If you are a builder on Pump Fund and you started off there, but you feel like you've kind of lost control of the success of your token because you don't have control of the liquidity pools, you can't adjust those to kind of help in times to where you need to give a little push in terms of price action, etc., etc. You can actually use migrate.fund to migrate to Bonk or to have your own control of your liquidity pool. So Migrate Fund has cohorts. They are wrapping up their cohort 1, which is going to start, I believe, at the end of August. But head over to emblem.vision and reach out to that team because they can get you started with the first step of getting integrated into Migrate.fund and getting your migration started there. And lastly, don't forget, they do have a Bitcoin rune that's going to be a TGE on block 915,000. You can go to OpenSea right now and search Emblem Founder Vaults, and you can buy one of these NFTs, which is a pre-sale to that Bitcoin rune. And once 915,000 block happens on Bitcoin, you will have these NFTs unlocked, and you have your Bitcoin wallet with your runes in the vault. So exciting stuff, the way that they're doing this. Head over to emblem.vision to learn more today. And then Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade fungible Bitcoin tokens like Doggo to the Moon, $1 Billion Cat, Ordi, perhaps Sats as well. But for now, they launched on Botanics, the Bitcoin's layer 2 spider chain. And you can actually trade Bitcoin or Ethereum. But just like Sats Terminal, you can earn points on the Artura platform by just doing simple transactions. But the biggest multiplier is going to be adding liquidity to their vaults. And so if you're not into trading, you can just simply add liquidity to their vaults and you can earn passively that way and earn the most points possible for their XP. Also, you'll earn Botanics points because they're going to be tracking transactions that happen on their chain with wallet addresses. Exciting stuff, guys. Head over to artura.finance to learn more. Also, real quick, an announcement. We're going to be putting together a new kind of weekly segment with them, so stay tuned for more updates with that. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They started on Cardano, and they have the Aquarium application on the Cardano side. So if you're a part of the Cardano community, you can add liquidity to their Aquarium platform and earn Babel fees. What is the Aquarium platform? The Aquarium platform is two things. The first thing is you don't have to use ADA for gas on Cardano. You can use one of their approved tokens there. And if you add liquidity for one of those approved tokens, you get to earn portion of the trading fees. And that's the Babel fees, guys. And then the second part is a online reoccurring payment scheduler for ADA. So you can pay your developers, your team in ADA and just set it and forget it. And then on the Bitcoin side, if you're a part of the Bitcoin ecosystem, then they have staking vaults over there. So you can participate in their newest innovation of being able to stake a dog go to the moon to earn diesel, which is an alkane. So they're doing cross meta protocol staking right now. Really innovative stuff, guys. Make sure you take advantage of it. The vaults will close on August 31st right there. So you can stake dog to earn diesel and stake diesel to earn dog. They also have other alkanes staking vaults, the Alchemist staking vault and the Dust staking vault there. As you can see, if you want to get a staking vault started, head over to their Discord, open a ticket. They will get you guys started for that first step. Head over to fluidtokens.com to learn more.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Real quick. So the vault closes in 3 days and rewards are given out August 31st.
My bad. So that's even more to where you need to hurry up. So the vault closes in 3 days and then you get paid out. That's a quick payout. That's for sure. All right. Really, really cool there. Make sure you're paying attention to that. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that focuses on UI and UX. So if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Play Store. Download the app. Let us know what you think. Right now, they support Bitcoin and Cardano, soon to be supporting SUI as well. On the Bitcoin side, you can swap for runes directly in their application. And then on the Cardano side, you can swap for Cardano tokens directly in there. They partner with Dex Center on Cardano and Sats Terminal, one of our other partners they partner with on the Bitcoin side. And again, SUI's coming soon, guys, and they're going to be adding more ecosystems. This team is crazy. They are ready to take over the world, but they want to make sure the UI and UX is the best for the end user. So let us know what you think. Also, you can find us in their alpha section along with other YouTubers. So one-stop shop, guys. Head over to Tokyo.io. Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of AI. They have their AI Wizard 0.3 version, which will guide you through Merlin Chain's ecosystem. You can actually do DeFi functions with the Wizard like stake and swap. Pretty soon with the version 0.4, you're going to be able to do cross-chain stuff directly with your Merlin BTC, guys. You can buy Solana tokens, all that amazing stuff. If you didn't watch Merlin Monday, make sure you go to our Monday live stream. It's all in our library, and you can watch that section where Jeff comes on and explains it all. It's really exciting stuff. But if you want to help secure the chain, you can participate in the proof of stake. There's 3 options. You can stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin, and that is a 16% APR. It is locked up till September 30th, so just know that. And then there's 2 options on the Merlin chain token side. The first one is the flexible option, which is a day-to-day option. You earn 15% APR. You can claim your rewards each day and create a compound interest effect that way, or you can just keep your rewards. But if you do withdraw your tokens from staking, there's a 7-day cool-off period, but no worries there. You guys will get it back. Just be aware of that so you don't freak out. And then the bonded option is a 6-month period. So the tokens are locked up for 6 months, but you do earn 45% APR, and you still can claim your rewards daily and create that compound interest effect there. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive. There's the space moved today. I believe it is 6 p.m. Eastern, I believe, maybe 7. I think it's 6 p.m. Yeah, okay. So Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. You got to trade your Ordinals here because they're going to find the cheapest Ordinals around for you guys. Also, if you sell your Ordinals, no more waiting 10-minute blocks or 50-minute blocks or whatever to get your money. You get it right away. That's something that they're really proud to be able to make happen. Also, their exchange is very, very fast. And then there's also trader tools like Live Mempool Insights and an amazing profile dashboard, and you earn XP as well. So make sure that you head over to Ordinal Hive whenever you trade Ordinals today. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. We got someone new popping in the chat today. Ayaz Exus. Thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you guys, Cash Cats, Stan, and all you guys. But if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, we have some of the best articles over there. Articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. Really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Highly recommend this brand new article that just dropped this week. Ethereum set to surge. This will kind of walk you through exactly what is going on with Ethereum and why we think that it's going to be the next big runner leading the altcoins this cycle. Really excited for this to happen. So definitely check out that. And then if you guys need a VPN, we have Nord is #1 VPN that I use. I have used some free ones out there. They suck in the comparison. I'll pay the $3.39 a month, but you can only get that price if you use our link here. When you use our link, you get to potentially get $3.39. But this is what you got to do. You got to lock it in for 2 years, right? If you lock it in for 3 months, you do get this price. But when you come back in 3 months and you like, oh, I did like that, let me get it again. They're going to charge you the $11.59. So the longer you lock it in, the longer you're set at that price. Lock it in, set it, forget it, be done with it. See you in 2 years, pay the $66 or whatever it is. And it's perfect. Having a VPN gets you into sites that don't like you, right? There's sites out there because you are an American citizen or whatever. They don't want you to use their site because the old rules, stuff like that, that's kind of going away. But right now, you guys can use any site you want using a VPN. It is not your country that is blocking you. You cannot get in trouble for doing it. It is the actual site that is doing it, right? So screw them. Use their product anyway, especially if it's decentralized. You can't stop me from using something decentralized, and you just definitely want to use that today. But you need a VPN to do that. And on top of that, you do not want to be giving your IP address to just complete strangers because your IP address can actually lead to your home address. You don't want that. I don't want that. Get a VPN today and use Nord. Definitely check out our merch as well. You click our store tab at the top right. You kind of get the on-chain revolution hats, jackets, t-shirts, and so much more. All check it out here. We have some really cool dog hats, stuff like that. I'm going to be adding some stuff as well really soon. I think I got to get the time, but I definitely will be adding some stuff. But if you want something added, let me know. Hey, Shizzy, can you add this? Can you add that? Can you add my PFP? We can add pretty much anything for you guys. Just let us know. We can add it to our store, and that'll be there. And it'll be there forever, too. So definitely check out everything at onchainrevolution.io. And remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
On-chain revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough. No. You're not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. On-chain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.